With a victory here over Memphis this evening. Now, Memphis, on the other hand, Bill, they are fighting with New York for that playoff spot in the East, as we touched on. And the only other game in progress in the MISL today is the Pittsburgh-New York game. New York battling with Memphis, and right now Pittsburgh leads New York 4-1 with 8 minutes left in the second quarter. That's as expected, and that would have to be a big boost for Memphis if they can pull one out here today.
Certainly would, Kev. And the Pittsburgh Spirit have been playing very well as of late. We talked about the fact that the home side here, Memphis Americans, battling with the New York Arrows. If they would be victorious this evening against the St. Louis Steamers, they'd be a half game in front of the Arrows, and they'd be in fourth place, the fourth and final spot in the Eastern Division.
Slobolievsky will open in goal for the Steamers. A little bit of a surprise for Memphis. They're going to go with Billy Michelot. Richard Boot had the hot hand in goal, but Michelot gets the start today.
Like so many teams in the Major Indoor Soccer League, I think, Kev, late in the season, they had the luxury of using two keepers. And let's get both of them match fit for this playoff stretch.
As you watch it at home, St. Louis in the blue jerseys. They go from right to left. Memphis in the white. Gino DiPolito with the game's first whistle. He and Jeff Mantell will call the action on the field this evening. Ty Keogh for St. Louis now. As we just get it going here, the Steamers lose possession, and here come the Americans. Espinosa, probably their best man-to-man defender on the Americans. He did a great job against Andy Chapman in Wichita a few nights ago and shut Chapman down.
Well, he certainly did, didn't he, Kevin? And Chapman's such a dangerous forward. Espinosa did splendid work guarding Chapman on the ball. That is, when the ball was coming to Chapman's feet, and he followed him all over the field. Did it well, really well. Real good job.
Speaking of excellent defenders, you just saw Sam Bick, one of the league's best, starting his 123rd consecutive game. That, of course, is a team record. A little confusion in front of the Steamer goal. Carl Rose and Slobolievsky. They collide as they go for the ball. And you don't want to see that in the first minute. Just like you had said, Bill, Dave Clements doesn't like the way they've been playing in the opening round. And that pretty much told. Rose and Bick on defense for St. Louis. Here's Duran. Duran turns and fires, and he scores! Darryl Duran with a nifty bit of individual work inside the goal box. He had Espinosa on him. You couldn't ask for more if you're Memphis. But he beat Michelot clearly, and it's 1-0 St. Louis.
What a great goal, Kevin. You asked me where the goals were coming from in the open, in the absence of Ricky Davis and Tony Grevin. Well, there you saw a splendid goal by number 7, Darryl Duran.
For Duran, his 19th goal of the season. And that gives the Steamers a 1-0 lead, and that's what Dave Clements wants to see. Some excellent opportunities early. Here's Duran intercepting again. Great two-way effort from Duran. Carl Rose now finds Duran, and he loses it. Dorr comes away with it now. Here come the Americans on the surge. This is Steve Long.
Two real workhorses on now for the Memphis Americans, Kevin. Steve Dorr and Steve Long. They really get through a lot of work for the Americans.
You saw Orhan try to backheel it in. Figueredo picks up the loose ball, and Duran takes it away from him. Darryl Duran, lead pass for Pesa, but Michelot comes out of his goal and clears it away. Rose charging up with a long shot, but that's high of the mark, and they'll have to regroup with the Steamers leading at 1-0. We talk about Leo Figueredo. He's going to have to take over at the midfield for Memphis with the absence of Tony Carbagnani.
Ball situation by the Steamers. Nothing going on in the face of the goal, so lay it off for a defender to shoot.
Grigoriev trying to center it off the boards for Memphis now. St. Louis leads it 1-0. Glad you're with us. Don Ebert moving in, 1-on-3, and that's not in his favor. Now he lays it back for Duran. He's got the game's only goal, his 19th of the season. Leaves it for Ebert. Oh, and Michelot allows it to go past him. And that is one that you wish you had back. A difficult, if not impossible, angle for Ebert, and Michelot had an easy save in front of him and let it roll by him.
Nice individual opportunity by Don Ebert. He certainly took advantage of it. Here's their own band getting around the attack. Duran lays it off to Ebert. Darryl was waiting for the return pass on the 1-2, but he didn't need to get it back. Ebert turned, shielded the ball very nicely with his body, and tucked it inside that near post. Good work by Ebert and Duran coming forward.
Those are the kind that are frustrating for your players out in front of the goal. They don't mind just letting the hard, difficult chances go in, but those kind you don't. Trying to get the goal to get him back in this thing. Steamers got goals from Duran, his 19th, and Ebert, his 18th.
After tonight's game, Kevin, the Americans go up to Buffalo to play the Stallions, and then the New York Arrows. Then they're back here to play the Cleveland Force, and they finish up with the Pittsburgh Spirit and the Baltimore club, so it certainly doesn't get any easier for this Memphis Americans club.
Carl Rose defending nicely on Ongaro. The scoreboard clock was stopped, Bill, and now it started again, but it lost a good 30 seconds, and I hope someone noticed that.
Well, you certainly did.
Only by accident. The Steamers leading it 2-0 here at the Mid-South Coliseum. They come off a big victory the other night at home in overtime against Tacoma. Memphis coming off a big victory here at home against New York 9-7. Sergeyev chasing in the far corner. Ilievsky comes out nicely. Slobo to knock it away.
Good play by Slobo, Kevin, as he saw the danger developing there. A one-on-one situation with
Sergeyev. Fine, hit the crossbar. We just talked about him, Bill. He's had 9 assists and 3 goals in his last 7 games, and he let go with a rocket. He beat Slobo, but it was a little bit high, and he hit the crossbar.
Good shot by Bernd Holzenbein from a very difficult angle.
And they score! Helmut Dudek for Memphis.
I was talking about the fact of how lethal his left foot is, Kevin. Just the opposite. There's the end result. Going past Slobo, who I think was unsighted. You saw Len Salvamini standing in front of Slobo. And there you see number 2, Helmut Dudek. Very prolific scorer for these Memphis Americans. Is number 2, Helmut Dudek. Very strong defender. He will never hesitate to come forward and get involved in the attack.
His 33rd goal of the season, and that makes it a 2-1 game. And you could just feel it coming. We had said they hadn't had a good opportunity, and then Holzenbein just blasted one, nearly scored, and then Dudek followed it up with a goal of his own. Don't forget Monday night here on the Sports Time Cable Network, Major League Baseball, Montreal at Cincinnati. Pete Rose returns to Cincinnati. He's closing in on 4,000 hits. He may just get it Monday night. 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central Time, only on the Sports Time Cable Network.
As you get a good look at the head coach of the St. Louis Steamers, Dave Clemens, talking it over with his team during his timeout break.
There is the Memphis bench. Kyle Rote. They had Kyle Rote Appreciation Day here in Memphis before the game today. And, of course, Kyle's come in here and done a great job taking over as head coach this season.
He's run the whole gamut, hasn't he, Kevin, in this Memphis Americans front office staff. He's the director of marketing, general manager, the head coach. He's done it all. The only American in either the North American Soccer League or the major indoor soccer league to win a scoring title.
Very diverse background. Of course, his father, the great Kyle Rote of the college football fame at SMU, professional football of the New York Giants.
Decisive runs through the Steamers' defense.
Diego Pesa now for the Steamers. Nice play, intercepted by Figueredo. Long pass for Orhan. He heads it goalward. He scores! Yilmaz Orhan. And Bill, the mistake there, I just talked about Slobo playing the carom so well, but he misread that one.
Yes, he did, Kevin. And a nicely headed goal by Yilmaz Orhan. A good equalizer for the Americans. Here's the ball coming out over Slobo Ilievsky, who's come off his line, and Orhan simply snaps it by him, puts the Americans 2 each with the Steamers.
He and his wife, Nancy, just had a baby daughter a week ago yesterday, and he celebrates today with his 46th goal of the season. That ties him with Andy Chapman, just 1 goal behind the Arrows' Mark Liverett, who is playing today, so we don't know if he scored their 1 goal. New York trailing Pittsburgh forward for the Americans. Bernd Holzenbein. He's looking for the shot or the opening inside for Gregorian. Oh, and he beat Ilievsky, but it hit the boards just wide of the mark. And Freddie knows he had a great opportunity.
What a great service by Bernd Holzenbein. A defense-splitting pass, slid it through to the diagonally running Fred Gregoriev at the near post. Good work between Holzenbein and Gregoriev.
Walters inside, but Ongaro knocks it away. Somehow it came loose, and Michelov got it anyway. We're tied at 2, 5 seconds left in the quarter. It appears we'll go down, and we do, to the end of the first quarter with a tie ball game. St. Louis came out hot. They took a 2-0 lead, but Memphis has battled back to tie it at 2 apiece. We'll be back with a second quarter here in a few moments after you see this on the Sports Time Cable Network. Your picture. But he gets a big job done. Tony Bellinger now for the Steamers. And here is Cacciatore. Watch him with it. Redmond Lane with the run on the left wing. Redmond Lane around Espinosa. Inside off the glass. Cacciatore out front. A shot. They score! I believe Tony Bellinger will get credit for the goal, but there was Cacciatore right in front keeping it alive, Bill.
There he was, and what started it was a splendid burst of speed in the left wing by number 19, Redmond Lane. There's Bill Mishlow saying, I know what's happening. I got excited. We were down before by a score of 2-0 when we threw level. It's only 3-2, just a 1-goal advantage. We're certainly capable of drawing level again. Here's how that goal developed. There's Redmond Lane. Nice burst of speed on the left wing. Goes to the far post. There's Cacciatore, taking first time off the rebound from the wall. And Tony Bellinger capitalizing on the second rebound. 3-2 in favor of the...
Orhan. 1 minute left in the penalty. Orhan with a low drive, and he hit it just wide. Memphis attacking well. Inside the drive, he scores!
Great equalizing goal by Fred Yagurev. He got in behind the last Steamers defender. Let's watch how that play develops again. An equalizer for the Memphis Americans. Here's a superb ball laid off by Dudek to Holzenbein. Now watch this defense splitting ball. What a ball by Holzenbein. There's Yagurev at the near post. 3 each. 4:50 left in the second quarter. We'll be back with more soccer on the Sports.
Carl Rose now for St. Louis. He tries to get it goalward, but the whistle at midfield, and the foul will go against Memphis. Don't forget baseball Monday night right here on the Sports Time Cable Network. Montreal visits Cincinnati. Pete Rose coming home and looking for his 4,000th career hit. 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central Time, only on the Sports Time Cable Network. Here's Figueredo now. Figueredo with a cross for Fall. Back to Figueredo. They score! Nobody does it better than that.
Absolutely great counter-attacking soccer by the Memphis Americans. There's Mike Fall on the right wing. Now he lays the ball off the return pass. Great work by the Memphis Americans, and they go on top by a score of 4-2. There you see an obviously jubilant number 22, Mike Fall, so productive in his first tour of duty this evening for the Memphis Americans. His first time on, Kevin.
Well, they nearly had a goal opportunity a few moments ago, the same two. But Daryl Duran, we mentioned, intercepted it. This time they broke in, and Diego Pesa said the magic word, and Gino Dipolito immediately whistled him for the 2-minute penalty.
Bert Holzenbein talking to Diego Pesa there, saying, well, don't
Hey,
worry
thanks a
about it.
lot.
Just go over and sit in the penalty box.
We need it with 54 seconds left in the period.
Diego said something to referee Gino Dipolito. He thought that Bill Mishlow had stepped over the line, had not stepped over the line, and was a free line infraction.
He must have said it very definitively because Gino did not hesitate one moment before whistling the 2-minute penalty. So Diego will sit in there for 54 seconds in this period, and then a minute 6 to start the third period. Timeout on the field called by Memphis as Kyle Rote wants to organize his power play. They were successful last time on the power play when they scored to tie the game at 3 apiece. Don't forget, we'll have more indoor soccer action coming your way next Friday night, April 13th from Kansas City's Kemper Arena. The Phoenix Pride visiting the Kansas City Comets as Kansas City battles for a playoff spot in the West. Phoenix defeating Kansas City yesterday 6-3.
We go to the Kemper Arena, Kevin. The Kansas City Comets leading the major indoor soccer league in average attendance, well over 15,000 per game.
Always fun to do a game there. Great hospitality from the management of the Comets. And, of course, their coaching staff, Pat McBride and Rick Benben. So the Americans organize their power play. Yilmaz Orhan leaves it for Dudek. Dudek moving in, and his shot is blocked. He waited a little too long, Bill.
And he was caught in deep there, Kevin. Had a lot of congestion.
30 seconds remaining in the quarter. Here's Dudek again coming in. This time, he whistles a low drive that Slobo got a foot on.
There, as you just mentioned, Kevin, on the prior play, he got a bit too deep. He was farther out, had a better angle from which to shoot.
25 seconds remaining. Here's another look at it.
Shot by Dudek at the near post. It's a kick save by Slobo.
Orhan restarts it for Holzenbein. A drive, and he scores! Bernd Holzenbein let go with a rocket into the upper right-hand corner of the net. Orhan gets the assist. And you called it earlier, Bill. They needed the scoring from Holzenbein. He's got 2 assists and now a goal He came in with 3 goals and 9 assists in his last 7 games, 4 goals and 11 assists now in his last 8 games, and he's not finished today.
It certainly is. And what a great, another tremendous dead ball situation played by the Memphis Americans. They looked across the face of the goal. There was no opportunity to capitalize there, so just knock it back deep for an on-rushing player. A one-touch ball. By that I mean a player can hit it just one time. He came forward, hit it a shot. I mean, there's nobody going to save that ball.
Olsenbein gets his 11th of the season as the Steamers try a quick counter with Ebert in front. And MISL did a great job to come out with 5 seconds left to stop that momentum-gaining goal. What it would have been for the Steamers.
That would have been an attack starting in the back, a nicely slided ball deep in the American zone to Don Ebert.
So at the half, Memphis battles back. They lead it 5-3. We'll be back for more. You're watching the Sports Time Cable Network. Americans lead the St. Louis Steamers 5-3, and Bill Memphis trailed 3-2, but they battled back, taking advantage of 2 power play situations against the best penalty-killing unit in the league.
Well, they capitalized nicely, didn't they, Kevin? Getting the goals from the most important players. Fred Gagarev, Bert Holzenbein really putting a stamp on this game, assisting very well, really spreading the play out, more room in which to move then. They find the open players. They're doing a very nice job, the Memphis Americans are.
Bill mentioned it at the top of the telecast that the Steamers had not been starting out well. They had come out slowly but finished fast. This afternoon and this evening they came out fast, and now they're in trouble.
Indeed they are. They have to show that intensity throughout the entire contest. That's what Dave Clemens continues to harp upon. They'll have to get back to this game early because momentum obviously now is with the home club, the Memphis Americans.
What does Memphis have to do? Do they want to try to sit on this lead and fall back into a defensive posture?
I think they should go forward and try to score some more goals because the Steamers are notorious for coming from behind. When they need the energy to come forward, they'll do so, and they have it in big quantities.
The other night, of course, the Steamers fell behind late in the game, and they pulled the goalkeeper with 5.5 minutes left against Tacoma. They scored 3 goals in regulation time, then won the game with 1 in the overtime, and they won it, so you can never count them out.
No, you certainly can't, Kevin. But as I mentioned during the telecast, you can't continue to rely on these big comebacks so late in the season.
All right, the Steamers heading for first place. If they can come back and win it, they'll still be in first place even if they lose it, but they'd like to get a firm grip on that top spot in the Western Division, the Americans battling for that final playoff spot. When we come back, you'll see the Sports Desk update right after this time. Kevin Slayton along with Bill McDermott. The Memphis Americans have battled back to get into this one, and they now have a 2-goal lead at 5-3. They trailed the Steamers 3-2, but Bill, the power play has been the difference. 2 goals on the power play for the Americans.
It certainly has, Kevin, and they're doing a real nice job on the power play, the Memphis Americans are, simply by knocking the ball around and just lulling the Steamers into complacency. And they just want to get one good opportunity, if nothing else, for that shot on goal. And they're getting several opportunities on each individual instance.
If you're Dave Clemens, what do you say in the locker room? You were pleased with your first burst when you come out and take a 2-0 lead, a 3-2 lead, but the last 10 minutes of the first half, you're not pleased with.
No, he hasn't been, Kevin, and as we mentioned at the scene set of the show, he hasn't been happy with the team lately. They've been playing well at later stages. We continue to reiterate this, but this is what Dave has said has been the fault of the club. He wants them to really stay involved in the entire game from the opening center off. And not so much wait for that perfect opportunity for a shot on goal, but take a half chance. You see what happens when players take half chances. They'll have their back to the goal, or sometimes they'll just want to lay the ball off and they'll wait for a teammate to run up. But then shoot the ball. Shoot it on goal. They always say, what's the most difficult shot for a keeper to handle? What's the most difficult goal-scoring opportunity? Well, anything that the keeper has to handle is a potential goal-scoring threat.
Just like Wayne Gretzky said in hockey, 100% of the shots that you don't take don't go in.
There you go.
So you might as well shoot it. And he's had some success shooting it.
There you go. A good look at Billy Phillips, who seems to be coming on here in the second half. Dave Clemens had toyed with the idea of starting Billy in tonight's game, but he changed his mind at the last moment, and he wants to get Billy Phillips some work before the playoffs start.
He will replace Slobo in goal, the league's best. He gave up 5 first-half goals. That's unlike Slobo. The Steamers came out, if you joined us late. Darryl Duran and Don Ebert tallying. Duran's 19th, Ebert's 18th, 2-0 St. Louis. But Dudek answered with his 33rd, Orhan with his 46th. That tied it. Bellinger, they've now changed that scoring once more. Now they give it to Tony Bellinger for the Steamers' 3rd goal. His 7th, he got it from Cacciatore. But then Grigoriev, Figueredo, and Holzenbein for Memphis to take the fight.
Duran saw saw him on a give and go, the 1-2. Dave Clemens likes to look for these 1-2s, and he uses Ebert as the target man. There you get a good look at Bert Holzenbein. Kevin and I were talking during the halftime break that we wanted no part of staying in goal when you got people like Bert Holzenbein and Helmut Dudek shooting at you.
Boy, Holzenbein's power play goal, the 5th goal for Memphis, was just a rocket in the upper corner from about 10 yards away. And nobody's going to stop those. Nobody wants to stop those. You don't even want to get in the way of it.
That's a goal any place in the world.
Ty Keogh now on the floor for St. Louis, along with Tim Walters, who's on the ball. And there's Tony Bellinger. Bellinger trying to start the attack now, uses the boards in front, and Pesa scores! Diego Pesa comes alive. His first point of the evening.
Really nice work by the Steamers. Started by Tim Walters. Changed the flow of the play. Here's Tony Bellinger. Takes on Holzenbein, goes at the near post. Nice little move. Hits it, rebounds it at the near boards, and there's Pesa splitting in behind that last defender, Helmut Dudek. But good work by Tim Walters to originally switch the flow of play to the huge opening. Tony Bellinger had acres of space in which to move. He surveyed the situation, went forward, took on that last defender. Good work by Bellinger.
So once again, the Steamers not rolling over and playing dead. Pesa gets his 37th from Bellinger, and Bellinger now knocks down one of the Americans. And it'll go again. Long clearing pass from Ongaro, a 3-line violation against the Americans with 21 seconds now left in the third quarter. Well, we're in for another sensational MISL finish, Bill.
Boy, you know, the players get timeouts. How about the announcer?
Yeah, it's tough on the heart, isn't it? 5-4 last night in overtime at Wichita. Tacoma beating the Wings. Gurgurev with a nice move. They've got a 3-on-2 if they hurry. Here comes Bellinger, though. Left wing pass for Dudek and Duran. Sliding in nicely to take it away and then use the boards to regain possession. All alone, Ebert. Ongaro comes back. Ebert moving in. A shot, and Michelau got it just as the horn sounds, ending the third quarter of action from the Mid-South Coliseum. We'll be back with the final 15 minutes. Memphis leading St. Louis 5-4 on the Sports Time cable. Just a 1-goal advantage right now for Memphis. And, of course, we have another one coming up for you next Friday, April 13th, right here on the Sports Time Cable Network. Phoenix visits Kansas City in another key Western Division game as the stretch run to the playoffs continues. And that should be exciting. Certainly for Kansas City, a very important game. Phoenix doesn't have much of a chance of getting in the playoffs, but to show you the kind of role they're playing as the spoiler down the stretch, they knocked off Kansas City yesterday 6-3 out in Phoenix.
Yeah, the playoff situation this year, Kevin, has been changed somewhat. The quarterfinal playoffs will also be the best of 5. So the first place team plays the number 4 finisher and 2 plays 3. So still quite a bit of soccer left for these playoff teams.
Memphis head coach Kyle Rote being honored here in between periods down on the field. There is Kyle, honored for his commitment to soccer, and the Memphis community honored with the scholarship fund, the soccer scholarship fund in his name.
That's right, Kevin. That's being provided by the Memphis Americans Gallery. That's the booster club down here for the Memphis Americans. Good look at Kyle Rote Jr. and the Memphis Shelby Soccer Federation. They're repaying Kyle just for some of the tremendous work he's done in and around the Memphis area, as well as for the sport of soccer throughout the entire United States.
What a fine ambassador for the game.
The scholarship will be awarded, Kevin, to a boy or a girl who plans to play soccer at Memphis State or Southwestern.
5-4, the Americans lead it as we head into the final quarter. It was not, from a standpoint of goal scoring, much of a third quarter, but the pace was excellent, and the action was certainly there. Power play goal opportunity for the Steamers, went by the boards. Memphis killed it off. Diego Pesa got his 37th goal early in the period from Tony Bellinger to make it 5-4. It was 5-3 at the half. Memphis in the lead, and we stand at 5-4. Duran and Ebert scoring in the first quarter for the Steamers. Dudek and Orhan for Memphis to tie it. Then Bellinger put the Steamers ahead 3-2, but then Gurgurev, Figueredo, and Holzenbein tallied. Gurgurev and Holzenbein on power plays for Memphis to get that 5-3 lead at halftime. So here we go, the final 15 minutes. Last night an overtime game in Wichita, and if that should happen, if we should go to overtime, the Steamers are 6-4 in overtime. Memphis 7-3, and that set a record, 7 victories. Some of the fans really getting into it here. So both teams have played very well in overtime. In 1-goal games, it's a little bit different story. The Steamers have won 9 and lost 11. Memphis, however, has won 10 and lost 8. We're involved in a 1-goal game right now. Sam Bick with a long pass, and Michelot out to punch it out. His confidence, Michelot's bill, has grown as this game has progressed. He had a shaky start, led in a sloppy goal off the foot of Don Ebert, but he's gotten better as the game's gotten longer. Pesa trying to move to his left on Salvamini, who knocks it into the corner.
You mentioned about Michelot, Kevin. He's playing with more confidence. You get involved in the flow of the play. You start making some key saves at important times in a game. Instantaneously lifts your confidence level.
Dudek. Keogh knocks it back for Billy Phillips, who replaced Slobo at halftime of this game. Here comes Tim Walters for the Steamers. He lets it go, and Michelot, as we said, playing with abandon now. Had Angaro not lost his balance, Bill, he'd have been all alone on Phillips. And then we'd have seen the goalkeeper for the Steamers tested.
He creates a lot of opportunities for these Memphis Americans. He came over from the Cleveland Force, played his college soccer at Eastern Illinois.
Pesa with a drive, and he scores! Diego Pesa, we talked about that right foot. Michelot thought he was going to the near post. He went the other way, and Pesa's 2 second-half goals have tied it at 5. It really didn't happen that quickly, though.
I don't think so.
I know he's quick, but he's not that quick.
You said the key thing, Kevin. He took that defender to the near post. The defender committed, was planted, and Diego hit it to the far post. And we'll get another chance to watch it. Here's Diego going right at Len Salvamini. That's the thing to do when you're going one-on-one. Take him right on, go right at him. A push and run by Pesa. Cuts it past the outstretched legs of Len Salvamini into the far post. As soon as he took that push and run, Len Salvamini planted and put himself right in front of the goalkeeper's vision, Kevin. That was the key that enabled Pesa to score in the far post.
Pesa with 38 goals on the season now, his second of the night. That's his 11th in just 14 games as a Steamer after coming over. So Pesa has certainly been an added plus to this team. Came over, of course, from the Arrows. The whistle goes against Memphis. The crowd here to...
Excellence and Michelob.
Michelob, some things speak for themselves.
Michelob. One smooth and mellow taste tells you all you need to know. Michelob. Some things speak for themselves.
Here in Memphis, Kevin Slayton along with Bill McDermott. Gladger with us, 5-5. Walters in front, can't get a piece of it. Memphis and St. Louis doing battle in the MISL encounter. The Americans in white, the Steamers in blue.
Steamers so far this season are 2-0 against their Eastern Division opponents, the Memphis Americans. The very first game of the year for both clubs down here at the Mid-South. And then March 16th at the arena in St. Louis, the Steamers victorious by a score of 10-3. That prompted the ownership of the Memphis Americans to call upon the services of Bernard Holstenbein to assist Dave Johnson and Kyle Rote being the assistant coach.
And he's done a great job in helping Kyle out. 5-3 at halftime. Memphis led it. Diego Pesa with a pair of goals, one in the third quarter, one here in the fourth to tie it. It's 37-38. Orhan sent it on front for Figueredo. He hit the post. And I think Phillips got a piece of it.
He did. He got his hand to it, Kevin. What a splendid save by Billy Phillips.
Well, we had said he hadn't been tested, but he certainly was that time. An almost impossible task, and he saved it. McEwen with a run at the other end. Michelot dives out, and we've got a whistle as Ebert knocks it in, but it goes against St. Louis. And so Memphis, after a big save by Phillips at the other end, Memphis now sees Michelot, their keeper, down on the ground.
Dangerous play whistled up by referee Gino DiPolito on Duncan McEwen. There you see the Memphis American trainer, Frank Bennell, attending to Bill Michelot.
I don't know how Phillips got a piece of that ball. We're going to get another look at it.
There's the play again. Duncan McEwen whistled up for the dangerous play. When the keeper has possession of the ball, you have to stay away from him, but sometimes your motion carries you forward, Kevin. I think that's what occurred on that particular play.
Billy Michelot, he's played an excellent game.
He certainly has, and as you mentioned, Kevin, he seemed a bit shaky early on. Let that easy goal by Don Ebert going, but then he has really responded to the pressure situation here.
All right, with 8:25 left in this one, tied at 5. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back to the Mid-South Coliseum after this on the Sports Time. Yilmaz Orhan. Espinosa colliding.
Neil Cohen for the Steamers, Kevin, from Dallas, Texas. has done splendid work being called upon in the absence of Steve Fetcher. Dave Clemens very happy with the work of Neil Cohen, very satisfied with his play. Neil knows his craft. More importantly, as a veteran, he knows his limitations, primarily a defender. Seldom gets involved in the attack, but lays the ball off the players who are more proficient at going forward.
2:22 left, 5-5. The message from Memphis is clear. A victory puts them in control of their own destiny for that playoff berth. Dudek has it run off his foot, and Cacciatore, ever the pesky one, takes it away. Redmond Lane down the left side, off the board. Cacciatore, he scores! Jeff Cacciatore, I told you he was pesky.
He just said over the pesky one. And what a great run from deep in his own end by number 12, Jeff Cacciatore. Here's the run. Cacciatore starting it, laying it off very nicely to Redmond Lane on left wing. Now Cacciatore, watch, he continues to run, knows the play is far from being over. He's running into some open space, is number 12, Cacciatore. There's Redmond Lane, rebounding the ball off the near boards. It breaks directly to the foot of number 12, Jeff Cacciatore. He gets him behind helmet Dudek and eludes Billy MISL. That's a go-ahead goal with 2:06 remaining, just the way it's diagrammed.
And now you have to wonder, Bill, as Memphis takes his timeout, will Kyle Rote pull the keeper with 2 minutes and 6 seconds remaining? Certainly worked for the Steamers Friday night.
Certainly did.
Remember, Monday Night Baseball here on the Sports Time Cable Network. Cincinnati and Montreal in Cincinnati. Pete Rose returning home. He's gunning for his 4,000th hit. That'll come your way Monday evening here on the Sports Time Cable Network. That should be a good one.
Saw a brief minute ago, Bert Holzenbein, Dave Johnson, and Kyle Rote talking over the exact situation, Kevin. What do they do now? As you see on the right side of your screen, Dave Clemens talking over with Sam Bick and Redmond Lane.
What would you do? Would you pull your keeper at this point?
2:06 remaining. They have to get involved in full attack. Yeah, I'd definitely pull my keeper. They have to get back into the playoff situation. Kyle's trying to digest that matter just right now. There you see him talking over Dave Johnson, assistant coach.
He's going to pull him. There you see Espinoza with the green jersey on. He's going to go in as the goalkeeper, and he'll move forward, so they pull MISL out.
Holzenbein talking over with Yilmaz Orhan, saying you're playing fine. Continue the work rate.
There is Espinoza. He'll be the last man back. Technically, he'll be the goalkeeper, but he'll try to get involved in the attack.
Well, let's see how good he is in goal. He's certainly a marvelous defender.
Well, he hopes you won't see how good he is in goal. He doesn't want to be tested. He's in there to score and help the offense. With 2:06 remaining, Jeff Cacciatore off a nice pass off the boards from Redmond Lane gives the Steamers the go-ahead goal. Memphis hasn't scored in the second half. They've been shut down by Billy Phillips in the Steamer defensive unit. 6-5, the Steamers scoring 3 unanswered goals after Memphis had a 5-3 lead at the half.
Kevin, you asked me at the top of the show, well, what happens? Who the scores for the Steamers when Glavin's absent and Ricky Davis is absent? Well, Duncan McEwen, as we get a good view of the scoreboard, 2:06 remaining, and you can read it for yourself. 6-5 in favor of the visiting St. Louis Steamers here at the Mid-South Coliseum. So Diego Pace is scoring 2 goals. Duncan McEwen playing superbly. Jeff Cacciatore on this go-ahead goal here, Kevin, absolutely superb work. Made the run from deep in his own end, laid the ball off the Redmond Lane, who took on that last defender, and just when he had to, he was cutting off his angle, so his only option left at his disposal was to play it off the near boards. Cacciatore continuing to make the run after he laid the ball off. Scored the go-ahead goal as it stands right now with 2:06 remaining. What a very exciting game, isn't it?
Just like last night in Wichita when the Wings were beaten in overtime by Tacoma 5-4. We're specializing in those one-goal games in our MISL telecast. Here's Grigurev. He's dangerous. He lost it for Orhan, but Neil Cohen. Nice interception by Cohen. Duran has it intercepted by Holzenbein. And the Americans mounting the pressure. Keogh knocks it away. There's Espinoza. You see how far out he is. Just to his side of midfield. He'll come on the Steamer side as they press the attack. There's the cross for Orhan, left alone. I think he was the most surprised guy in the arena. But that ball even got through. Grigurev keeps it alive. Freddie. Orhan sends it back for Espinoza. Now he's on the Steamer side of midfield. Minute and a half left. Steamers trying to kill it and win it. 6-5. Memphis trying to tie it, send it into overtime. Orhan with a low shot. But Phillips able to handle that. Phillips with a long throw. And a 3-line violation.
Memphis by Bill Phillips to throw the ball as long as possible. Just went over that second line.
But you didn't want to see that. Of course, that's his second on just on throws. A little bit rusty on his throws. Could have killed another 10, 15 seconds had it not gone across the third line. Bellinger tries to clear it, but Espinoza holds it in.
All-out pressure now, Kevin, by the Memphis Americans with just 1 minute remaining in the contest.
Dudek trying to get it in. Neil Cohen lofts it over everyone's head, and Holzenbein hustles back to get it. 50 seconds left. 6-5. St. Louis in the lead. Dudek for Memphis. Low shot blocked by Cohen. Keogh comes away with it for the Steamers now. 40 seconds left. Sam Bick. There's an empty net, but Bick, I don't know if he realized it, Bill. He could have turned and shot it. Espinoza had to hustle back. And now Phillips with another mistake as he clears it into the crowd. Just trying to, of course, keep it out of trouble. And I guess that's as wise as anything, but you don't want to knock it into the stands when you got 30 seconds remaining.
Yeah, he was trying to flight it long, Kevin, looking outfield. And just when he was getting ready to flight the ball, he looked up, took his eye off the ball, and that's the end result.
Phillips has done a fine job here in the second half. 30 seconds remaining. Steamers 6, Memphis 5. There's Orhan in the corner. He nearly loses it, and we've got a whistle. Tripping will go against the Steamers. Memphis very dangerous off these set plays.
They certainly are, Kevin. The Steamers have to mark up really tight now. Look where Jorge Espinoza is. He's well beyond midfield now. As a matter of fact, he's standing at the near post.
Right in the goal mouth, right in front of Phillips. Bellinger heads it out nicely. Holzenbein trying to keep it in. Keogh's got an open goal, and he lets it go, but it's going to go wide. Ty Keogh thinking very quickly, realizing he had that open goal. And the 3-line violation will bring it back. He didn't quite get it down.
He was looking for the insurance.
17 ticks of the clock. 6-5 St. Louis. A long high shot by Holzenbein, and Phillips tips it over the glass. It'll belong to Memphis again. This is great, isn't it, Bill? You really have the pressure on in the last minute of the game. Last 2 minutes, actually.
How about these games on Sports Time? Tremendous excitement in these MISL telecasts.
Orhan for Gurgurev. He didn't see it, and now he knocks it over the glass. And Orhan gives him a bewildered look.
Now it's just a matter of playing keep away for the last 14 seconds. Of course, easier said than done when you're playing the other team who has an extra attacker.
And if they hold on, the Steamers will have come in here on the road where they do not play that well and win a big game.
And be 3-0 this season against the Memphis Americans.
Ty Keogh has it. He heads it for Duran. Espinoza keeps it alive. 8 seconds left. Keogh just wants to kill time. Dudek trying to get it. Duran will kill it now. It's all over. This one's in the bag for St. Louis. They win it 6-5. A big victory on the road for the Steamers. And a tough loss to swallow for the Memphis Americans, because had they won, they would have moved into sole possession of 4th place in that American League East battle for the playoff spot. There's Dave Clements. He's a happy man. And we'll be back with some final comments after you see this on the Sports Time Cable Network.